Shook up the family tree.
Right? We're letting the room fill up.
Yeah. Right. In this world, I'm an outdoor lover, fight like a warrior, shoot like a girl.
Someday we're just gonna sing it.
Right?
We'll just come in like we're the chorus and we'll be rocking and rolling.
Right. Yeah. I like that idea of rocking and rolling. Hi, everybody. Welcome to SLGTV. This week, we are so excited because we're going to talk our favorite subject, which is firearm safety. And we have Ashley Robertson from Glock here. We're going to learn a little bit about her, and we're going to really talk about Glocks Follow The Four. And as the day goes, we got a little thing. Did you know that there's Glock IQ? We'll talk about that a little later too. So I'm super excited. Ashley, welcome. Yay. We always when we get celebrities, we get a little bit like, oh my gosh. We got right, Christa?
Yes, we do.
Well, thank you so much for having me here.
We're so happy. So you are a very accomplished athlete. So do you want to tell us a little bit? I know it's hard. I'll see if you can do this because a lot of people don't like to boast or tell people about their accomplishment, but you have some firsts as a woman. I think 19,
hi ladies.
Yeah. 19. How many wins do you have? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm horrible at this part. So
we all are.
Yeah. So some of my notable accomplishments since I've been at Glock, I think I have 19 national title wins since I've been there. Earlier on, I was the first female distinguished master in IDPA.
What does that mean for those of us that don't compete?
It's the highest classification you can get. So it goes all the way up to master, and then distinguished master are people who basically they either win their whole division at nationals or I think come within 3% of the division winner.
Wow.
I was actually doubling up nationals that weekend, and I found out I had made it while I was in Florida at another nationals, and it was also crazy. So.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. So just tell people what you shoot in an IDPA match.
So in IDPA, I typically compete with a Glock 34. Ever since carry optics kind of came on the scene, I've been doing more carry optics. I think this year I'm going back to sights for IDPA World. So I'll either I think I'm signed up for ESP at the moment.
Okay, I have to ask a question. So sights versus optic. How do you transition between the two easily?
I don't.
Magic answer.
Yeah, I don't. It's very difficult because I spent so much, I grew up on sights and then I switched to optics, and it took me a year or two to really get in tune with it. And, if I kind of end up shooting, when I shoot Steel Challenge, I'll shoot iron sights and optics. Usually the optics is kind of the one I favor, and the iron sights, I'm just dragging along. I'm come on, you get it together. But yeah, no, I'm excited to switch back to sights towards the end of this year to just kind of focus on that a little bit more.
Very cool.
And someday I'm going to be able to say I'm not trying with an optic. I think I've been saying that now for 2.5 years because I'm really a sight person. That's what I learned on, and I need to just and embrace the optic.
Embrace the optic. So Ashley, one more quick question, because I think your first experience shooting was when your dad got a Glock, correct?
Yes. So stuff was happening in the world, my father was concerned, just to keep our family safe. And I had always, he grown up with shotguns and rifles and went hunting with his family. And I did a little bit of that too. I kind of started hunting. But when he bought a pistol, he wanted to make sure that I knew all the right things, all the firearm safety rules. And he thought it'd be better for me to go to a class where they would teach a course and really get in depth to it, because I was younger too. So I needed to learn the basics because, it's important to be safe with firearms. And so he didn't know what kind of pistol to buy and didn't really know much about them. And luckily somebody was there at the gun store who actually taught my basic pistol class. He encouraged them to buy a Glock 19. I think it's a Gen 3. So, just it all kind of came full circle a few years later.
That is pretty funny. It is full circle how those things kind of work.
Yeah.
So you mentioned hunting. We might fall back on that a little bit later in this conversation, but let's talk a little bit about that Glock Follow the Four. For years, they've had the pledge concept. I've noticed more recently in their page about the Follow the Four, the SAFE page, which is really a focus on the four, but it's serious about firearms education, right? They really have that big emphasis on the four plus all of the additional safety rules.
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to say, let's talk a little bit about those primary four and share them with our followers as a reminder, right? So we all know as firearms people, whether we are a competition shooter or a trainer or just someone who has it as a hobby, firearm safety comes first.
Yes, and that was one of the things that was ingrained into me, especially starting out so young and getting into a competition side. I mean, firearm safety is the most important thing. If you're not safe with it, it can be a big issue. So on Glock's website, they have this pledge that you can take during National Safety Month, which is follow the four, like you said. And those are the 4 basic rules of firearm safety. And ever since I started in the shooting world, that was just thrown at me everywhere. And it's really important. So basically, 4 rules are: treat all firearms as if they are loaded. So even if you check it, set it down, come back, don't assume, just come back and check it again. And the next one is never point the muzzle at anything that you're not willing to destroy. Pretty simple. And the third one would be always know what your target is and what is beyond it. So I find that one really applies when you go to a range, especially if you're in an outdoor range by yourself. Always know what your back berm is, how high it is, what you're going to be shooting at, and what's behind that. And the fourth one, which was something that in competition is really important running around, is always keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are aligned and you're ready to fire. So they're all pretty simple and pretty basic. And I feel like if you follow them, you can avoid a lot of safety issues that people tend to struggle with firearms sometimes.
Absolutely. And at the trailer, so we have a trailer experience where we see lots of new to the market, either already firearms owners or those that are interested in getting involved, either in a sport, a new activity or hobby, or even personal protection for their families, how your dad probably started down the handgun journey.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of focus and a lot of time, particularly with that new person, understanding those rules. And if they can follow those 4, plus some extras, right?
Yes.
Because there's things about securing your firearm, understanding your firearm. And actually on the safe page for Glock, they list a variety of additional beyond the 4, because it is more than just the 4. Things like know your gun safety features, train with your firearms, right? And training is about education, not just getting out and shooting improperly.
Yes. Yeah.
Kudos to your dad for sending you to a class early on. Storing and securing your firearm, educating loved ones, ensuring others are properly trained, and as well as maintaining your firearm.
Yeah, if you just being well versed on how the gun works, what you're doing, how to secure it and keep it safe in this day and age is so important. And it's really key into protecting the firearms community and making sure that we operate with firearms safely.
Right. And I applaud Glock, because those 4 fundamentals, the basic 4, really do prevent unintentional discharges. And people talk about accidents, and honestly, accidents are unintentional discharges where someone has done something that is not accurate. We love Glock. As you know, we just presented Glock with the safety award for all that they do for safety. And I really appreciate that you told those 4 fundamentals. And hey, people, as you're watching, do us a favor. Of those 4, which one's your favorite? Put it in the comments. Let us know so that we can see what you think is a favorite. I'll tell you my favorite. My favorite firearm safety rule of all times is treat every gun like it's loaded all of the time.
That's mine. Yes. I'm checking it all the time.
Yep. And just even after you've checked it, it's still loaded. So that way you just don't make an error of that gun. And know the target and what's beyond. You also, even if you're at a professional range, I love that you talked about being at an outdoor range. Even if you're at an outdoor range, you need to also check kind of the ammunition requirements, because sometimes you'll have ammunition that you think that you've got a big enough berm, but then that it hits a target and a fragment will zing off, and you want to make sure that you know what's behind you to make sure that you're safe. And firearms are really a very safe sport if you follow those basic 4 rules.
Right.
So,
But it doesn't matter if it's handgun, rifle, or shotgun. Following the rules will keep everyone safe. I think one of y'all both mentioned the treat it as though it's loaded. If we treat it as though it's loaded, we're going to be following the other rules. And I like to share all the time with our guests, even if it's your trusted resource, your spouse, your best friend, your parent, your child, whoever that's getting you involved in the sport, if they say, hey, this gun's unloaded, you still treat it as though it's loaded. You still verify everything for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you can never be too careful with this stuff.
And have the courage to speak out if you're on the range with someone being unsafe. So if you ever are on the range with someone being unsafe, have the courage to tell them, hey, you need to follow the 4, or if they don't, you need to leave that range. And so I think that's real important. So
we'll follow up. We'll make sure that we add the links to that Glock Safe page and the link to the pledge, which also has a Glock IQ login piece there, which we will talk about a little bit later.
Right.
Yes,
so
definitely.
I'm quite sure, Peggy, you've already commented. So thank you. Yeah. We want to make sure we got some diehard followers that we love. And so y'all keep up, because we may get back to giving a few little trinkets. Like I'm pretty sure we could come up with a little
giveaway from this.
Hat.
Swag bag.
Right.
So we kind of talked about your competition shooting. Because Christa opened the door for me. I love hunting. So what did you start out hunting when you were young? How old were you?
It feels like it was so long ago. I'm not quite sure. I was a pretty young age, and my dad, like I said, my dad had grown up with his dad. They're hunting. They would hunt turkeys, deer, stuff like that. Yeah, turkeys. I never went turkey hunting. But I think I did deer hunting quite a bit when I was younger. But then kind of when we found pistols and handguns and how they had competitions for it, we were just whoa, that's cool, and jumped right into it.
And that's how old were you when you started competing?
I say when I started competing, I was 12, 13, I think, something like that.
If there was a family member watching and wanted to get their child involved, would you have any advice to tell them to get involved?
Yes, I'd say first start out with a basic pistols course, firearm safety. I know NRA offers things like that, and ask questions all the time, because most people in the gun community are just ready to throw out information at you and to help you so you can learn and be proficient with your firearm. And I think starting out with a handgun, I'd say a 22. A 22 is a good place to start, because you're not really focused on recoil, and that's where a lot of issues come in with shooting a pistol. Is the recoil really throws people off, or it kind of messes with their head a little bit. A 22 kind of takes a lot of that zing and that scare out of it. So I'd say start with a 22.
That's great advice, which would be the Glock 44.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. So what is your favorite caliber?
I'd say a 9mm, just because I shoot it all the time. I do love a 22. It is fun to just go out there and plink around with the 22. It's some steel and stuff like that, but I've got a soft spot for 9mm.
Yeah. Have you the silhouette targets? Like I get obsessed with knocking those down with 22 shooting. It's like
steel silhouettes, little poppers,
the little duckies that go down.
Oh, those are so fun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like I mean, that's my shooting competition with myself. Like that duck's got to go down.
Yeah. When we have our matches, if we've got steel poppers that we have to knock down, it's a best part of the stage because it's the most satisfying part because you hit it, you hear that ding, and it just falls over. It's great.
Right. So that really, what you just described right there is the whole reason I started Shoot Like a Girl, because it's that feeling that you get inside of I
Yeah,
did that, right? It's such a great
right.
feeling. It's such a great feeling. So, you talked about your father, and
Yes.
this is Father's Day month. So Father's Day was just last weekend or weekend before. So last weekend. So how have the men in your life been in this journey for you to achieve all these accomplishments, Ashley?
Well, first, happy Father's Day, Dad. Belated happy Father's Day. Yeah, my dad really took a strong interest in me competing, and he, used to do. He's a very competitive person. He used to do all kinds of sports. He did professional go karting, and so he knew how to work hard and get to where you want to be within your sport. So he kind of passed a lot of those traits on. I'll admit it. I was a very lazy child. I didn't want to do much. I needed the push. I was one of those kids, and I think I still do a little bit, but that he really ingrained in me that, hard work, setting a goal and trying to do everything you can to achieve it. So that's what I grew up with. And he really, really helped me get there and helped me grow into a better person, even with work and my interactions with people and things that I want to achieve in my life. It's like that hard work and all that effort, you have to put that in to try and get to where you want to be.
Right. Nothing comes easy, right? It's a lot
That's
of hard
right.
work. Well,
That's right.
we're so glad that you put the hard work in, and you're such a great example for all of us to follow. I really appreciate your time.
Yep. We
Thank
are
you.
glad that you're here with us today. Let's talk a little bit about Glock IQ and what that is, and kind of give a snippet, because we hope that we're going to come back in a few months and have a live about Glock IQ. We're
Yeah.
hoping you can give us kind of the inside down and dirty little information.
Yes, so Glock IQ it's fantastic. I think I had an updated email. So I updated my email this morning as I took the pledge for Follow the Four as well on the website. But Glock IQ is an online platform where everybody can share their one common interest, which is Glock. So it's a really great place where you can connect with the Glock community. You can chat with people, ask questions. You can learn safety rules, the history of Glock. There's all kind of little snippets on there where you can get information and chat with people. You can log how many rounds you shoot in your training sessions, kind of keep track of that. It's a really great environment and community to be able to connect with other Glock enthusiasts.
Cool. Karen and I both have logins on Glock IQ, and I'll get invested in it, and I'll find myself, kind of people do with Instagram and Reels, where they start scrolling through. I'll start scrolling down the forum, and next thing I know, an hour is going by. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I have to walk away, and then I take a break for a while. I need to be a little more diligent in measuring my time and staying on there more often.
Ditto for me, because when I get on, I get a little obsessed, and then it's like, okay, a couple hours later, I'm done, and I've done all the like little learnings that they have. Like, there's so much on there, and
Yeah.
I recommend. I do want to go back to, because we didn't recommend people, and we need to tell everybody to do this. Everybody, you need to take the pledge.
Yep.
Yes,
The pledge.
I took mine this morning.
Yeah. I'll take mine. Krista will take hers, but
Yeah, I took
everybody
mine
needs
as
to
well.
go on and take the pledge. And
And we
do
can
you
add
wanna-
the link here in the comments, Karen, to make it easy.
Yep, we
Yes.
will do that. Ashley, do you want to explain to them what they're doing when they take that pledge?
Yes. So basically, you are just pledging to follow the 4 rules of firearm safety on Glock's website during National Safety Month. It'll be live. And it's basically you're taking accountability for your shooting. You're going to get the word out to spread to other people to take the pledge and to hold up to the 4 rules of firearm safety.
Yep, I love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Anything else you want to share before we close out our time today?
Just if if you have questions, my biggest thing is, sometimes, especially when I started, I was kind of timid. If you have questions in the firearm community, if you need answers or, you need help, just be sure to reach out. This is a wonderful community where people can just share their ideas and their different things that they need help with their guns. Or if they have questions about competition shooting, just reach out to people, find people online or at your local gun range or at your local gun store, and just don't be afraid to ask questions, because we would all be more than happy to help you out.
Right. And a good place to get started in that competition maybe would be with a GSSF match. And we can
absolutely.
add that link as well as to how to find GSSF matches in your area near you. And
Yes.
I always say I'm going to do that. And it works on a weekend where I'm traveling and I can't get to go. But I know what we've heard is it's one of the most welcoming communities.
Yes. GSSF. I went to an event for them. I think it was last year in the winter, and I hadn't been out in a while or something like that. And I just came back and was like, oh my goodness, it's just such a wonderful community. I saw friends that I hadn't seen in years, and it was a great environment to be in.
Right.
Awesome.
And you can win a Glock.
You can.
Right.
There's that.
They're very generous about that. It's very nice prizes.
Right.
Well, we want to take a quick minute and thank everybody for joining us today. We've got a lot of links that we're going to be adding within our feed that will include GSSF and the pledge, which is only live to take the pledge, I think, during June. That's the only time you can access that point. Plus, we'll put the information for Glock IQ, how to reach that page within this. Make sure you comment, like, and share with all of your friends. We can't wait to hear from you.
Yes.
Karen gave you a challenge. Which one is your number one primary? All the safety rules are important, but which one is the one that you go to first? If you are in the Rossford, Ohio area, which I know actually is not far from Detroit, Michigan, come out and see us. We will be, Like a Girl trailer will be on site Saturday, June 24th and 25th. And then the 2 weekends after that, and the weekend after actual July 4th, we are in Avon, Ohio. We would love to see you. We will talk firearm safety with you, your family, and anybody else that comes up to the trailer.
All right. You all have a great day. Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much.
Great
Thanks
weekend.
for tuning in, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.